Welcome to the second part of Inferences. Inferences questions are often seen in various competitive exams. Here, in these questions, a reader needs to be able to arrive at conclusions of his own from the information, clues, or that the author would have written in the passage. Okay, this is quite a challenging task for a lot of them. People who don't read find inference questions much more difficult than reading comprehension questions. But if you follow the strategies that we have discussed in our previous video, solving any inference question will become very easy. We discussed in our previous video few strategies that will help us arrive at logical conclusions on any paragraph given to us. We spoke about reading the passage thoroughly, carefully to be able to arrive at the important information and draw conclusion. While reading the passage, you need to skip the smaller details and focus more on the main idea. You need to be able to connect paragraphs, especially with the main idea. The other things that we discussed in our passage was about eliminating options that don't actually match to the main idea discussed in the paragraph. We also spoke about distortion. Distortion is where the author, to make it a little more challenging to his reader, will talk about various things connected or related to the main idea. However, this may be a little misleading, a little confusing, where it draws you away from the main idea of the paragraph. Okay, these are all few things that you need to look out for when you're answering an inference question. But let's look at few examples and apply these strategies. Here is one such question that has been seen. You can pause your video, go through the question, arrive at an answer of your own before checking if your answer is correct or not. The answer for this question is C. When you read the paragraph, you understand that the author is talking about a meteorite that hit Mexico some time ago. Right? So the question asked here is that which of the following can be inferred from the paragraph about the location of the meteorite impact in Mexico? Right? So inferred. Inferred means when you read this paragraph, what is the understanding that you get? Okay. Now the understanding, that is the logical conclusion that you arrive at, must be based only on the information given to us in the passage. You may be aware of a certain topic that you're reading. You may have more knowledge than the paragraph tells here. However, you cannot connect the knowledge that you have outside of the paragraph to arrive at a logical conclusion. You need to limit your conclusion based only on the information shared in the paragraph. Okay. Now here we are talking about the question asks, what is the inference that you arrive at about the location of the meteorite impact in Mexico? When you read the choices given to us, the first choice says A, the location of the impact site in Mexico was kept secret by geologists from 1980 to 1990. There is no mention of the geologists keeping the event a secret. Okay, right? So we can eliminate option A. Right? Nowhere in the paragraph it tells us that the geologist had maintained the location a secret. Okay, the option B. Okay, it reads as it was a well-known fact that the impact had occurred in the Yucatan region. Now this is another elimination because the Yucatan wasn't discovered as being the location until later in the passage, right? So the first few lines, if you see, it just talks about the impact. Okay, but it does not talk about which area, where was the place the meteorite impact happened. It is discussed only in the last two sentences, right? So we can eliminate option B also. When you look at option D, the Yucatan region was chosen by geologists as the most probable impact site because of its climate. This is also wrong. Okay, you can eliminate it because climate isn't named as a factor in the discovery. Nowhere here we talk about the climate of the certain place that helped in the discovery. So as such, we also eliminate option D. Therefore, we arrive at C as our answer because it talks about that the idea that there was a collision, right? A meteorite impact happened was known to people, but only the area they were able to find out much later. Okay, so we conclude C. Geologists knew that there had been an impact before they knew where it had occurred. When you look at the timeline here, right? So in 1980, scientists identified there was an impact of a meteorite. Okay, they were able to locate the site of the impact only in 1990. Okay, right? So that is the timeline that this paragraph is talking about. As such, we can conclude C is the correct answer. Let's take up another example. Okay, this is a financial or an economical paragraph. Okay, so here we are talking about manpower and how people are dependent on certain sector for their living. Kindly pause your video, go through the paragraph, answer the question, and then move on with the explanation. The answer for this paragraph is B. Right? Okay, the question asks, the passage best supports the statement that. Right? We'll look at the option A. Option A says employment in production is more fruitful than employment in agriculture. Okay, right? We can eliminate this option because there is nowhere in the paragraph that this information gets mentioned. Okay, right? So nowhere in the paragraph it tells us that employing in agriculture is not fruitful. Okay, it also does not say that employment in any production field is prosperous. Right? So we can eliminate option A. When you look at option C, it says a shift of labor from agriculture sector to the industrial sector would uplift the living standard. Right? Now, here in the paragraph, it says that a lesser number of agriculturists would mean purchasing or spending power to every agriculturist. Okay, right? Now, it talks here that the agriculture is overmanned. Okay, and it says if people who are working in agriculture, okay, are removed, right? So if they are removed, it will create a demand for production field, that is industrial field, right? But it does not say anywhere that it would lift the living standard. And the choice does not tell us it will uplift the living standard of whom? Whose living standard will it uplift? As such, we can also eliminate option C. It is not the most precise information that we can connect with the paragraph. Okay, right? The option D, it says the industrial sector is labor deficient while the agricultural sector is overmanned in our country. Okay, right? So it does say that agricultural sector is overmanned. However, it does not say that industrial sector is labor deficient. Okay, nowhere is that mentioned in the paragraph. Right? Okay, there is a hypothesis suggested, right? If people from agricultural sector, okay, are removed, right? They are no more working in agricultural sector, then they will have to they will need more things, okay, then they will have to produce more things to meet the demands of these people. Okay, so if it happens only then that the industrial sector will be labor deficient. But it does not say now it is labor deficient. It only mentions our agriculture is overmanned. So we also eliminate option D. Out of the options given to us, option B is the only thing that is most likely to be the answer for the question given to us. Right? Okay. Now here, India is not mentioned anywhere in the paragraph. However, we are drawing the conclusion. It says in the paragraph, it is up to our government. Right? Our government is the government in the land that we live. Okay. So we conclude, we arrive at the inference that our government is nothing but Indian government. Indian economy is in a poor shape, basically due to improper mobilization of manpower. This is the only statement that is the closest logical conclusion that can be drawn from the paragraph. Okay. Now there will be at times choices given to you which will not be the conclusion that you arrive at. Okay. Now when you read the paragraph, the conclusion that you arrive at is quite different from the choices that you read here. Out of the choice given to us, okay, you need to select the best choice that fits the paragraph. It may not be the most perfect one. However, you look for the best choice. Let's take another example. Kindly pause your video, go through the question, arrive at an answer, and then proceed for the explanation. The answer for this question is option B. Let's look at why it is so. The question asked here is, in the above, what would describe the condition of the author best? Okay, right? Let's take choice A. The author is deeply sad and disturbed and unable to focus. Right? Okay, when you read the paragraph, okay, right? So you understand that yes, he is kind of melancholy. Okay, it's not exactly sadness that is expressed in the paragraph. Okay, but okay, disturbed and unable to focus, that is not mentioned in the paragraph. It is not an information mentioned in the paragraph. As such, you cannot arrive at that conclusion. So we eliminate option A. Let's look at option C. It says, author is depressed and wishes to read a book. Now this is actually inconsistent. It's a very opposite of the information given to us in the paragraph. Okay, right? In the paragraph, it says, no more can I turn the leaves of this dear book that I loved. Okay, right? So this is also an information that is not seen in the paragraph. So we eliminate it. The last option, author is talking about life and how it is a book that we all have to read. Okay, right? So a part of it is correct, right? So he's talking about life and the dreadfulness of it, but he's not suggesting that we all have to read a book. Okay, so we eliminate option D also. There is but only one sentence that is actually supporting the paragraph, right? So that supports or that tells us the condition of the author in the book, right? In the paragraph, that is that the author is distracted from a book by something else. Okay. The second sentence in the paragraph, it says, no more can I turn the leaves of this dear book that I loved and vainly hope in time to read it all. Okay. So here it is a little bit of understanding of the vocabulary also, right? No more can I turn the leaves of this dear book that I loved. The meaning of which is that the author used to love that book, and he or she has read the book a little bit, but he is not able to read it further because he is distracted. right? And he hopes in time, vainly. Vainly is a word that we use, maybe that, most likely it's not going to happen soon. It may happen sometime in future or may not at all, right? Okay, that's where the usage of vainly hope, that gives you the explanation there. So based on that, this seems to be the most logical answer to conclude that the author is distracted by the book. That's the condition of the author in the paragraph. Learning outcomes after going through inference videos. You should be able to answer inference questions. You need to be able to apply strategies to read between the lines. You'll have to be able to understand different types of inference questions. Okay. You will also should be able to avoid traps to arrive at an answer in inference questions.